Washington's farewell address, he warns against two things, which are political parties and entangling foreign alliances. Remember that Washington does not call them political parties, he calls them political factions. Remember that word, faction, F-A-C-T-I-O-N. Okay, XYZ affair, John Adams. So do you have any questions about Washington, first administration? We're all set? Okay, XYZ affair. Adams comes to office, he sends some Americans over to France to meet with the French Foreign Minister Talleyrand to say, you know, we want to remain neutral, we want to keep on friendly relations. They get to France, they're approached in their hotel by Monsieur X, Y, and Z, who say to them, we'll arrange a meeting with Talleyrand for you, it'll cost you $250,000, and we want you to give us a loan of upwards of $10 million. Immediately, the Americans left France in a big huff and a puff because we thought that was bribery, and Adams immediately started building up the military, spending millions on defense, not bribes. Was this business as usual in Europe? Yes, but we just didn't do business that way. So we started to build up our military temporarily. Alien and Sedition Acts passed under John Adams. The Alien Acts made it so that he gets president to deport people who weren't born here, who were considered to be nasty about the government, etc. Part of the Alien Act was a Naturalization Act, which increased the time period you had to live here 14 years to become a citizen instead of 5. The Sedition Act made it illegal to criticize the government or its officials. Now, the Alien and Sedition Act in 1896, or 98, I'm sorry, were made in peacetime. To Adams' credit, he never had anybody deported, but he did. There were people that were fined and or imprisoned for saying things like, "I hope the wad of a cannon hit Mr. Adams in the butt." How would you like you saying that today you hope Mr. Obama falls off the stage when he gives a speech? Okay? Oops, now we're going to put you in prison and fine you.
And he's on YouTube.
And he's on YouTube too. How does the Sedition Act of 1898 compare to the 1918 one? The 1918 Sedition Act was made in World War I. It made it illegal to make any criticism of the war. Okay, like when Eugene V. Debs said we went to war because of finances and bankers and businessmen, they got put him in prison. Okay. One was a peacetime action, one was a wartime action, as if that makes a difference. I don't think it does, but there are people who would think that makes a difference. Jefferson was appalled, he and Madison both appalled by the Sedition and Alien Act, so they passed or wrote the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions, which were passed by those state legislatures, which introduced the idea of nullification. Okay? Nullification is a very important term from 1800 to 1850 or 60. Nullification says that a state has the right to not enforce a law in their state. They have the right to null and void a federal law. Okay? Was nullification legal? Most people would argue no, it was not, which is one of the issues brought in the Civil War. Which has greater power, states or the central government? If you think the central government, then you're going to say no to nullification. If you think state government should have greater power, you're going to say yes to nullification. Election of 1800, also called the Revolution of 1800. What is it? Jefferson's elected president, so the Federalists, if you think of Washington as a Federalist, and some people do, and John Adams for sure, Federalists are in power for 12 years. They are not elected in 1800. Adams is not reelected. Jefferson, the big Democrat or Republican, if you want to, that's what he called himself, a Republican, is elected. He does not have to take the army with him to get Adams out of the White House. Well, Adams leaves, Jefferson comes in. Okay, it's a peaceful change of government. Similarities between Washington and Jefferson were they A, that both wanted to suppress Hamilton, B, they didn't want foreign entanglement, C, they didn't support expansion, or D, they felt the courts had the central power. Which one? No. B. They wanted both to suppress Hamilton is not true. Jefferson wanted that, Washington didn't. They didn't support expansion. That wasn't an issue for Washington, but he probably would have supported it. Jefferson, it is an issue, and he does support expansion. Think of the Louisiana Purchase. Thank you, Chris. And the courts had the central power. Jefferson felt the central power rested with states. Okay, and Washington didn't think the courts had the central power. He thought the federal government as a whole did. So the only answer would be they didn't want foreign entanglement. Jefferson, which of his actions are loose construction? Biggest and foremost is Louisiana Purchase. The impeachment of federal judges and Supreme Court judges. The attempt to alter who's on the courts by using a technicality. Impeachment is supposed to be used to get rid of people who actually break the law, okay? It's not supposed to be a political tactic, which Jefferson uses it for. Going after the Barbary Coast pirates, okay, we can view that as a loose construction issue. The Embargo Act. Did he have the right to get Congress to set an embargo? That's why it's a big controversy, okay? Jefferson and his philosophy, well, there's Jefferson the philosopher and there's Jefferson the president. Okay, and the president's much more practical than living in the real world than Jefferson the philosopher. Jefferson did which to restore more Republican values or ideas, increasing the army, cutting the banks, stop paying state debts, proclaiming neutrality. He did none of those things, so that's, I don't know what the real answer was, but I can make some guesses. Did he increase the army? No, he did the opposite. He decreased it because that would cut government spending. Did he stop the bank? No. He didn't approve of the bank when he was in the Washington administration, but when he becomes president, he doesn't get rid of it. Okay. Does he stop paying state debts? No. Does he proclaim neutrality? England and France were no longer fighting, so it wasn't even an issue. Okay. What he did do to restore American values was cut government spending. So if it had said decrease the army, that would have been an okay answer. Republican values or ideas. Wanted a nation of small farmers, so you could say the Louisiana Purchase. So the next term, Louisiana Purchase, reasons for it. The biggest reason for Louisiana Purchase was control of the Mississippi River, so that we could use the Mississippi for trade purposes. Secondly, to expand the United States for farming. I mean, that was a real secondary thing, but it's one of the things that happened. Is Louisiana Purchase strict or loose in construction? It's loose construction. Okay, it really overturns strict. It did all the following except it did not stop Indian raids. In fact, it would have increased the numbers of Indians who were unhappy because more people would have been flowing west. It gave us control of the river. It took Spain/France out of the United States permanently. I don't know what else they would have put there. How did Hamilton die? A duel with Burr. Okay. Burr was mad at him because he felt that he had thrown the election to Jefferson in 1800, because remember, still this is before the 12th Amendment, and they voted on vice president separately from the president. And the number 2 vote getter got to be vice president. Burr and Jefferson tied. Burr tried to get people to vote for him in the House, and in the end, Hamilton supposedly said vote for Jefferson, and Federalists did. Then Burr runs for governor of New York, and he feels like Hamilton throws the election to his opponent, so he challenges Hamilton to a duel. They go over to New Jersey, they cross the river, go over to New Jersey at dawn and shoot it out, and Hamilton is mortally wounded and dies later.